An Unknown Girl by Moniza Alvi. In the evening bar stuffed with neon, an unknown girl is hennaing my hand. She squeezes a wet brown line from a nozzle.
She's icing my hand, which she steadies with hers on her satin peach knee. In the evening bazaar, for a few rupees, an unknown girl is hennaing my hand. As a little air catches my shadow-stitched kameez, a peacock spreads its lines across my palm. Colors leave the street, float up in balloons. Dummies in shop fronts tilt and stare with their western combs. Banners for Miss India 1993, for curtain cloth and sofa cloth canopy me. I have new brown veins in the evening bazaar very deftly an unknown girl is hennaing my hand. I'm clinging to these firm peacock lines like those people who cling to the sides of a train. Now the furious streets are hushed. I'll scrape off the dry brown lines before I sleep, reveal soft as a snail trail the amber bird beneath. It will fade in a week. When India appears and reappears, I'll, re- I'll lean across a country with my hands outstretched, longing for the unknown girl in the neon bazaar. This poem is very autobiographical because it talks about her cultural roots, which have been awakened in the bazaar. The themes explored are loss, longing for a lost identity, culture, the clash between Eastern and Western cultures and memories. It has a very free verse structure and no rhyme scheme, and this kind of shows a flow of thought of what has happened in the bazaar. We can easily see that It's only one verse, a stanza, and this is very significant because it connects the poem directly to the poet and the bazaar and forms a direct connection to her although she's in another country. Mm, and it's got very centered layout which is reminiscent of her henna'd hands. And in the first line it says in the evening. Evening is very significant because it's between night and day, and this could mean the poet herself is placed between two different cultures, sandwiched between two different cultures. Studded with neon is also significant because it merges the exotic um, Indian cultural aspects of like studs and jewels and jewelry and stuff like that with a very modern Western scientific idea of neon lights. The title itself is really ambiguous because it's an unknown girl. This the unknown aspect of this girl. This could just stand for the um, poet not understanding her culture well, so that's unknown to her. Her culture is unknown to her, or it could probably not be an individual, but just a representation of the Indian culture as the unknown girl, really. Mm. And we see that the phrase is henna in my hand is repeated throughout the poem, and this creates a very hypnotic feel and calms and depicts the immersion, um, her immersion into her cultural experience. The phrase wet brown line isn't very appealing because it juxtaposes um, with the beautiful pattern of henna. Later on we see the peacock and stuff like that. It's not really a good picture with brown line. Then we see the use of Western um, ideas again, icing. Um, icing, the Western phrase, it perhaps depicts some kind of like occasion of some sort. This could probably um, stand for her being born into the Indian culture. It's like a very uh, celebratory occasion, I would say. Um, and also, she steadies um, could kind of show us that
Um, well, I think that Alvi is trying to show that the girl is helping her to connect. She's studying her view of her culture and trying to help her connect to her culture. And we can see the use of soft, beautiful colors which appeal to our senses, like satin peach, and we see some more colors like amber and stuff like that. The phrase "for a few rupees" is probably a connection made to the poverty in that area. Peacock spreads its lines um, is very vivid, and it kind of adds to the vivid imagery in this poem. And we also see that she says, "Colors leave the street, float up in balloons." This is very vivid because the colors seems to come to life, soft sounds to create a calm tone in this as well. And plus, it's like a dreamlike atmosphere too. And plus, balloons symbolize freedom, so it's probably a symbol to show that although she feels trapped between two different cultures, she envies freedom these balloons have. Dummies is very significant because it could depict Western people who expect her to act a certain way and impose views on her while she wants to be traditional Indian in that sense. Could also mean that she's calling herself a dummy, and this could be linked to her own identity and how she has become by entering a new country. And the juxtaposing ideas of Western imagery with traditional Indian imagery is very strong, and it shows the strong contrast between the two cultures. And personification is used to kind of create vivid imagery again with words like tilt and stare. Bans from Miss India, beauty competitions brought from Western countries, and most Indians, being Indian myself, do not like beauty contests as such, and they feel that this spoils the traditional Indian culture of women dressing modestly and covering their bodies. Um, we also see that she says, "I have new brown veins," which should she thinks that the new culture she's being introduced to is a part of her physically. We also see the use of the word clinging. This is a metaphor showing her desperation to hold on to her cultural identity. It's very significant because if you see pictures of people who cling onto trains in India, it's very, very shocking. And she wants to cling to her identity like that, which means that it's kind of being ripped away from her, but she wants to hold on to them. When the word hushed is said, um, it's very soft consonant sound, and it kind of promotes a sense of privacy, really, because she goes on to talking about um, herself in detail. Um, and this is kind of really the main part of her poem to show that although she wants to hold on to this identity, it'll be ripped away from her. We see from the line, "It will fade in a week," but it's temporary. Um, the metaphor for her Indian identity is slowly revealed by the amber bird beneath. And we also see that in thoughts and dreams she'll always cling on to India. The word scrape is a harsh word, and it contrasts with the amber bird, and it shows that she wants to take away the outer kind of westernized outer self to reveal the Indian identity beneath her. Squeezes and line use assonance to create vivid imagery. Very deftly significant because it shows her absorption into the tradition. The last phrase uses long vowels to emphasize her longing to be in the Indian culture. Um, short vowel sounds in as little air catches mirror the movement of air created with imagery. We also see how West influences have changed and transformed the way women are perceived. We can also see the use of opulent and sensual imagery in this.